I'm Redwater, and today we're talking about Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. In this video, I'll be discussing KTIF from its plot, animation, art style, and characters, as well as its ending, critiquing any weaknesses I think the anime has, while giving praise to any strengths, ranking the anime overall ranging from F to S at the end. Opening and ending. The opening, it's alright. It's not bad, but not good enough for the playlist in my opinion. I enjoyed the visuals for the opening though, that was gas. The ending, on the other hand, is kind of vibey with a nice beat and vocals to accompany it. It starts slow but picks up into a real slapper, we adding that. Plot. Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress is a dark fantasy post-apocalyptic anime made by Wit Studios and released in 2016. Taking place during the Industrial Revolution, a zombie-like virus has spread, turning those who are bitten into creatures known as Kabaneri, which are basically the undead with a steel cage protecting their heart, making them difficult to kill. In order to survive, the people have built fortresses to protect them from the Kabaneri, traveling between them using fortified steam locomotives, also referred to as a hayajiro. A hayajiro gets overrun and hijacked by Kabaneri and ends up crashing into Aragane Station, which is quickly overrun, giving our main character, Ikuma, giving our main character, Ikuma, a talented steamsmith, the opportunity to test out his piercing gun, a one-of-a-kind anti-Kabaneri weapon he constructed himself. While proving to be effective in killing Kabaneri, in a fight with one, Ikuma gets infected. However, prepared for this, Ikuma ends up stopping the transformation himself, essentially turning himself into a Kabaneri, a half-human, half-Kabaneri hybrid. With Aragane Station fallen, Ikuma boards another hayajiro named Kutetsujo, meaning Iron Fortress. The crew and Ikuma travel the rails, seeking shelter and safety while battling the Kabaneri. I'm shifting in my stupid ass chair. Alright. Themes. This anime has themes of survival, gore, and experimentation, and it's not stingy with the gore either. I absolutely love that. The risk of survival is made more nerve-wracking by not only having to fight and survive against the Kabaneri, but also having to fight against the humans as well. Most of them overcome with fear, resulting in turning on one another, attacking and killing each other in fear that they are Kabaneri. Art style. It's exceptional in my opinion. I think that the art style helps the background and other objects stand out more, which I'm thankful for as the anime takes place in this steampunk-like time. There are close-ups of certain characters, or characters in general, that look like they did them in a completely different art style, or just more polished version of the current style. Here you can see the colors are blended more in the hair. The shading is like lines you'd see in manga, and when they do these close-up shots with characters, it makes however they're feeling at the moment more impactful in my opinion. Often accompanied by a moment of thought like, I wonder what this person is feeling or what they are thinking after they were just told whatever. A perfect example being when Ayame gives her father's gun to Ikuma, as he asks what she intends to point the gun at. Show the clip. There's also so much of this anime that's pipes and machinery, and originally I had appreciation for that, the attention to detail in things like the walls and weapons, as well as the blood on the trains and people's clothes. Like I said, the gore is abundant in this anime and I love it. I enjoy the character designs as well. Ikuma, our main character, actually goes through a few different looks throughout the anime, which I enjoy. It's like visual progress when you see characters change clothes or how they look. Animation. The animation from the train running to the fighting scenes to the Kabaneri's bodies reacting to being hit or capes being pushed up by the pressure of a firing weapon. I can't stress enough the small details that go into animation that can help make a scene more impactful, from clouds moving over stationary shots or stations to steam being let out and built up. I'm not a fan of CGI. However, when used right, I think it can help make things more impactful or help emphasize things that maybe can't be done with 2D. The Kabaneri sometimes appearing in CGI, and it doesn't bother me. It's not like they're in CGI the whole anime. and I believe the CGI adds to these monsters. When the Kabane die, we get this blue light showing us that the steel heart cage has indeed been pierced and the Kabane is dead. Small things like gauges, building pressure, or sweat showing on almost everybody's face because of the fear that they have for Kabane is chef's kiss. You couldn't visibly, if you can't visibly see how scared everyone is, I promise it would make the things attacking them seem like a welcomed event. Characters. We have a wide variety of characters in this anime. However, I won't be discussing all of them in this section. Let's start with our main character, Ikuma, a young steamsmith with a fiery heart. I enjoyed watching Ikuma's character growth, as well as the way his character looks. He goes through like 3 or 4 different looks in this anime, and despite it being 12 episodes, I think they handled it well. It's not like he was changing clothes every episode or anything like that. Understanding Ikuma's past helps us understand his character at a greater level, not wanting to be a coward or hide in fear like many of the regular folk or the boucher, the people in charge of protecting the normies. Forgive any mispronunciations here. Ikuma showed no fear for most of the anime, even swearing to never run away after his sister died. However, near the end of the series, we see Ikuma run, which, when I watched this moment personally, it looked like he ain't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? He ain't playing for that. You feel me? You hear me? Like, it's one of those moments when your body just moves based solely on your emotion. And before Ikuma really knows it, he's ran away, hiding for his life. Rewatching it, it felt like this moment was necessary. Even though he ran and hid from the Kabane on the beach, this is still character development for him. It shows his humanity through his fear/desire to live. Throughout the series, we see Ikuma fighting for others more so than himself, in my opinion, as well as standing up when things are wrong and speaking up for what he believes in. When Ikuma talks about not running, you can tell that he's battling his own fear when he talks about it. Not a fear of the Kabane so much so, but more like a fear of losing someone else, or a fear of losing himself and his reason for fighting. I say this because we see Ikuma face things that others are essentially afraid of head on, encouraging them to ignore that fear and push ahead to survive. Throughout the anime, he struggles with who and what he is, hating himself at first for being unable to defend himself against the Kabane, and not being able to save his sister. Even though they were kids, he absolutely still carries that weight with him. Then, adding doubt to that in the form of his transformation, hating what he is, being feared by his friends, and feeling better off dead. Only for Mume to train him and show him that he's a hybrid. Even more of a rarity, since he's a man, you heard me, makes the feats that this lad is capable of achieving even more amazing, because most Kabaneri are female. Mume/Hozume is our second main character at the start of the series. She seems to struggle with getting along with other people. That, of course, being due to the fact that she's being used like a weapon by Biba. In the dubbed, I did find her slightly irritating or headstrong. Might be a better way to put it, since she does improve later. She's had a hard life, pretty much being taught that only the strong survive, causing her to have this flawed ideology about life and people. She's actually only 12 years old, which would also explain her personality a little more, but she's capable of handling a grown-ass man by herself thanks to her Kabane strength. She also knocks Ikuma out in a smooth-ass way. Run the clip. She also gets points for style and drip because those bell slides was hard as fuck for no reason. Kurosu was an interesting character to me, mainly due to his weapon of choice in this world, a sword, which gets upgraded to one made by like Kabane or something. And my man's has skill. A lot of his time is spent protecting the Princess Ayame. I mean, that's his position. But he's got the hots for her. So, like, they like each other. They're cute and all, but that's not the main plot of the story. I also really enjoy his design, especially his face and eyebrows. I love some good eyebrows, okay? I actually like how all the characters do look. They've come from all parts of the world. Kurusu butts heads with Ikuma a lot due to the main fact that he's a Kabaneri, and Kurusu, like most people, has fear of Kabane. Therefore, you're a danger to him, and probably more importantly to him, the princess. I was trying to see if I even wanted to talk about the antagonist Biba, but I think I will, since a lot of his teachings affected Mume in such a negative way. Biba is our main antagonist that comes in at the latter half of the series. Biba as a character is a product of his environment. His sole purpose is getting his father back for leaving him and his team stranded against the Kabane, which is understandable. However, I wish I could have known more about him as a character, how he became a Kabaneri, and how his father affected his growth. We do see a flashback of his past when he was younger, but for me, it leaves more questions than answers. Biba teaching Mume about the weak and the strong makes me wonder if that's how he was raised, or if he found that as to be the best way for him to live long enough and perhaps push himself to be emotionally adept enough to achieve his goal of killing his father. Which he did in an awesome way, I might add. I was pleasantly surprised by the death of his father, which leads him to be a possible winner for the Great Death Badge against Biba's assistant. Strengths and weaknesses. You knew it was coming. Alright. Even though this anime is only 12 episodes, one of its strengths lies on its world building. There is a curiosity to be had about this world, where people live in what's essentially train stations / trains while attempting to survive in a world slowly being overrun by Kabane. I mean, we literally see that the thought of someone even being that sends people into a spiral of fear, so much so that they can't even think rationally. Two good examples of a rational thought, in my opinion, being when the man escaped the train in episode 1 while pleading with the guards that he's not a Kabane. They killed him anyway. However, he spoke fluent English, which would rule him out as being a Kabane. Another example is the pregnant mother. I understand that grief is a thing. However, everyone's reaction to Mume killing her was more so confused anger, in my opinion. This is a no-duh moment. Yes, I know grief exists, okay? But if the mom was already a Kabane in the works, then that baby was just a ticking time bomb, or just never gonna pop out to begin with. Now, granted, even after they revealed that the mom was pregnant, Mume herself was shocked. However, the truth of the reality is that the baby was already gone, which Mume herself confirms, though it's a hard truth for everyone else to swallow. Show the clip. Something this anime attempts to introduce or add is romance. And while I do think it's cool, there's no place or time for it. I feel it's only viewed in passing, or possibly as a palate cleanser for the viewer. It's also used as motivation for some characters, because, you know, fighting for your life to survive against crazy zombie-like creatures with steel bones just isn't enough. We also need to add a sprinkle bit of tinkle of love in there, which is fine. I don't mind romance at all, but for the most part, I just feel like it didn't impact the story, and I didn't care enough about the possible couples. But that's just me. This doesn't subtract from the anime, but in my opinion, it doesn't add anything either, as we don't get to see these relationships flushed out besides blushing at one another in passing, or a random ass kiss out of nowhere. I saw this as random because throughout this entire anime, I was getting little sis Big Bro vibes. Ikuma lost his little sister. Mume's big brother sucks. they're basically the perfect sibling pair. You can argue this is a friendly kiss or whatever, but I ain't buying that shit. Especially while doing research for this video, it seems a lot of people want to ship the two of them. They think they look good together or whatever. Well, let me tell y'all something. This ship ain't setting sail over here, okay? This anime has quite a large cast of characters for 12 episodes. I feel that not all of them might technically get enough screen time unless it's in furtherance of the plot. But I can't call this a weakness, however. I did want to mention it since it's on my mind. I do like the designs of the characters overall and the variety of their looks. Best character, this spot was actually tough to pick. While watching, Ikuma had most of my attention. That is until Biba came into the picture. Both characters played their part and ultimately made the story more interesting. Ikuma dislikes Biba for the way he raised Mume, while Biba basically doesn't give a fuck. He just wants his father to die. That's his main goal. Like, he can give a fuck all about anyone else or their feelings. Everyone was just a tool in furtherance of his goal. I enjoy a character with a steadfast goal that will stop at nothing to achieve it. However, best character goes to Ikuma. Worst character. When I thought about this position, Ayame popped into my head, and I'm putting her here because I genuinely don't know what she did besides hold the damn key and be a princess. I'm not saying she's totally useless. However, I fail to see how she impacted the story besides giving my man's Kurisu some motivation. Worst character goes to Ayame. Great death. This anime had no shortages of deaths, but two stuck out to me. Biba's assistant and Biba's dad. I thought it was interesting how she died, and she's mainly here due to my curiosity, but what all this shit is. But I digress. Also, she was so willing coming in at the latter half of the series. It was kind of odd to see her dead. If anything, her transformation before this is another reason I thought about giving her the badge. But Biba's dad? Dude, you mean to tell me you've been working on science to turn someone into what looks like a Kabane? Or a Kabane-like transformation? And produce a weapon to hide it so that your dad will be infected and be killed by the very people he was willing to risk your life for? Oh yeah, I'm awarding a Great Death Badge to Biba's dad. His death was creative and interesting, not only because of how he died, but how his own people affected his death. Biba essentially weaponized fear and used it against his father. That was pretty cool. Summary. KTIF paces itself. It's not winning any races, but it isn't last place either. Right off the bat, we're hit with action and the reality that this world is essentially dying, being overrun by Kabane as humans cling to life on trains and stations. What this anime lacks in episodes, it makes up for with its story, structure, and detail. Something this anime does well is character development. Ikuma starts out as a steamsmith determined to never run away, who later ends up running. I enjoyed this scene as I genuinely wasn't expecting this from Ikuma, especially so late in the series. This scene occurring in episode 12, the last episode. Seeing him filled with the one thing he crucified several people for throughout the series, fear, this was refreshing to see. As for all intents and purposes, Ikuma has been the spearhead for motion, pushing everyone ever forward, doing his best to keep it together and protect his friends. I enjoyed the contrast between Mume and other characters. Mume being taught survival of the fittest, especially being told that the weak and the strong survive, hearing the negativity that Mume speaks and how Biba taught her to be cruel in life, I think it's interesting because in a world that's dying, she's technically the most, air quotes, negative, or it is what it is type of vibe. This is an interesting contrast to Ikuma, who at the beginning we see strives to destroy the Kabane. It's interesting to see because both characters have harsh backstories. However, how they react afterwards is what will depict how their life will go. I'm sorry, I lost my place in reading. Ikuma knows what Mume is saying is true, most likely feeling the same way for a while after he lost his sister, but he knows that's not all the world can be. He knows there's more to it. He's going to show Mume that hope exists and that Biba is wrong. The badges this anime gained are as follows: lightweight due to a total of 12 episodes in the series, hidden gem because it took me a while to find this anime and actually watch it for the very first time, and interesting because it is. For a total of 12 episodes, I think this is a nice anime and I think that you should check it out for yourself. Overall, I place this anime in the C tier. It's decent with good animation, story, and characters. The attention to detail in KTIF is meant to be praised, since little things like gauges moving or steam pushing up adds all the difference in the world to some of the more static shots. You can, however, argue that the realism and backgrounds makes it boring. But hey, that's just one Sater's opinion. I encourage you to go watch KTIF for yourself and form your own. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget you can do anything you put your mind to. I'm Red Water, and that's all for me.